Gone and years after us have prayed to see revival in their community, and they will live and die and never get to see the things that you have been able to see. Do you realize that the eyes of the nation have been centered around and watching what God did in Burlington, North Carolina? Do you realize that preachers across this world have looked upon this parcel of ground wondering what God did and how God did it and how God can do it in their community? Do you realize that men of God have literally begged and fasted and pleaded to see the manifested glory of the Holy God, and they've never got to see it? And for some reason, I don't know and you don't know, but God saw fit to open up the windows of heaven and pour His Spirit out in Burlington, North Carolina. I rejoice over what God did. I rejoice over what God done. I don't care what anybody has to say about it. I was there when it happened, and I guess I ought to know, honey, it was the raw power of God inside this town. A man couldn't take credit for it, a man couldn't start it, and a man can't stop it. And here we are. I don't believe this is part number 2. I believe we just unhooked for a little while, got us a new tent, and put it right back in gear. Ain't nobody knows what God's able to do. But to whom much is given, much is required. I'm told, listen, we've had good time Monday and Tuesday. I've let you do it for 2 nights, and I'm happy for it. I'm thankful for it. But we've looked at the poles long enough. We've looked at the screens long enough. We've been here long enough. We've clapped enough times. That stuff's got to end, and we've got to get back to operating under the burden that God has for you and I. We've got to get back to laboring in prayer and saying, God, you didn't give us all this just to have a few days meeting. You didn't give us all of this just to have a shouting spell. You didn't give us all of this just to operate for a couple weeks. You gave us this because behind this, it ain't about me and it ain't about him. This is God's tent. This is God's stage. Those are God's screens. Those are God's cameras. And God has a purpose. God would not have given us all this if He didn't have a plan. God wouldn't have given us all of this if He didn't have a purpose. And if I got to do it by myself, I'm going to pray. If I got to do it by myself, I'm going to fast. If I got to do it by myself, I'm going to tell this town that Jesus is the answer and Jesus is the way, and revival's still possible. I need some people to say, I can't just be the status quo. I can't be tired. I can't quit. I've got to get under the burden that God has for my life. This ain't a camp meeting. This ain't